Good evening and welcome to the penultimate round of the Red Bull Global Rallycross Series on iRacing here on RaceSpot TV and on iRacingLive. Randy Chenowth, Cam Walsh, Hugo Louis bringing you all the action as these drivers hit the track for qualifying for the Red Bull Global Rallycross Championship right now, Cam, but we still have two other events to look forward to tonight as well, in the super late models as well as the sprint cars from those World of Outlaws Craftsman series. Those are going to be very fun evenings as well.
Yeah, it's going to be at Volusia and Eldora, so that looks to me like it's going to be a good night. Hoping we can have a good race here at Daytona. Boy, did we have a tough one last week, Randy, and hopefully they can pull the iron out of the fire and put on a good show here at Daytona.
The best in the business last week here in the Red Bull Global Rallycross Championship weren't good enough to handle the heat in the Arizona desert, so let's hope that the oasis down here in Florida is a little bit simpler for these guys. Taking a look at the standings in the championship right now, Mitchell de Jong, he's basically a full third worth of the championship points ahead of anybody else, so good win, Mitchell, on that one. Sindri Setsas, Dylan Chipolewski, Jake Hewlett, and Julian Ganowski, driver we've not typically seen in these broadcasted races. No, he rounds out your top five. Mitchell currently on pole with a 40.368, so he's already dominating, up 2/10 over anyone else. Dillian making the switch here, Cam, from the Ford to the Volkswagen, it seems like, and he's second right now on the timing sheet.
Well, maybe the Volkswagen just seems to be more comfortable here. I don't think Mitchell has raced the Ford once this season. He might have.
He did it a couple times in the beginning.
Yeah, so I think everyone knows that perhaps the Volkswagen is perhaps the more comfortable car with the tracks that we have available to us. And you know what? When you're comfortable in that car, might as well make it worth it and get used to it. You know, of course, we have the multitude of GT machines to choose from in one class, yet people seem to choose all the different cars. Some people love to just pick the most, the quote-unquote quickest one, but sometimes your quickest weapon might not be the quickest in the actual statistically, and it might just be up to the drivers. So it's interesting to see these guys try different cars, and hopefully they can come up with something that they're quick in.
Much more technical answers than you're used to getting from Mr. Cam Walsh, but Cam, you're absolutely right. Only two vehicles to choose from at the moment. We know we have a third one on the way. The Subaru that you typically see driven by the likes of Patrick Sandell in Global Rallycross, we know is in the works behind the scenes. So hopefully that can come out to us in relatively short time, and then we'll have three different manufacturers represented on the sim. Still waiting for qualifying to finish up here. Mitchell continues to lead the way with that 40.368, and pretty much dominating performance for him, Cam, already over Stillian, who is a 40.5, and then the next closest is Johan Hart at a 40.7. So Mitchell, even though it's basically 4/10 or more clear the rest of the field as drivers continue to finish up their qualifying laps here, we got 60 more seconds left on the board.
Yeah, I have to say Jake Hewlett is out and about. I believe he's put in his 3 qualifying times, so he's just practicing. But I think for me, it's interesting. You got a 40.3, 40.5, 40.7. You know, normally on a very small track like this, you would see closer times. I think that just goes to tell you, Mitchell, no matter what these guys are able to do, he just seems to be able to find the speed in ways that I think these guys just can't figure out yet. Mitchell, obviously, a lot of real-world experience in these types of machinery. Everyone else, kind of not so much. And it's interesting how that real-world experience actually does transfer over.
Before qualifying finishes up, Cam, other big news coming. We know that the next build is coming up. Been a lot of talks about the LMP1 cars, and is officially announced on Twitter by Mr. Steve Myers. We're getting 2 new tracks in Lima Land as well as the dirt oval at Charlotte this coming build, as well as a new layout for Rallycross. They came up with something apparently at Sonoma. No idea what that consists of. So 3 new tracks coming in just a couple of weeks' time for this dirt content. That's always going to be good.
Can we get the thing where we do a jump and then, like, we have the drag strip, we run the entire drag strip? I just like that because I like to get people like drag racing someday, right? No,
I'm not so hyped on it as yet. As someone who has NHRA background in the blood, I don't think it transfer well to the sim. But I'm sure Mr. Ron Capps, one of the proprietors of the sim, he would definitely disagree with that. But starting grid for heat race number 1 coming at you and across your screens right now. Mitchell is on pole as you'd expect with Johan Hart in that second row. Second spot, Bobby Zelensky third. Connor Parisi in fourth. Garrett Lowe fifth. and James Edens round out the 6 cars in heat race number 1. If you've never seen Rallycross content before, 5 laps. You have to do a Joker lap once. That consists of, in Red Bull Global Rallycross American format, a shortcut. If you're in Europe, it's an elongation. But all cars are on the grid. Reds are coming up. And we are go for round number 11 in the iRacing Red Bull Global Rallycross Championship. It's a good jump for the entirety of your front row in towards quarter number 1. And Mitchell is going to try to work that inside road. We saw Mitchell the last time we were at Daytona have a fantastic start on the outside, but he's going to be picture perfect on the inside here as they were 3 wide in the chicane behind, but everyone's through those first couple corners clean. Mitchell tags that tire wall as he gets into the next sector on the racetrack, but everyone is through and headed now down towards that dirt hairpin away and clean.
Yeah, and no surprise here, Mitchell de Jong has gotten away going through that very quick right-hander, the on the e-brake that you know what he actually uses the e-brake for anymore through the dirt. Then you basically got the field. So it's Mitchell de Jong. I mean, really the only danger he has now is the tire barriers. He takes his Joker lap as he does every single time. He always takes the first Joker lap he can. Johan Hart is following him there, whereas Connor Priest, Zelensky, Edens, and Lowe do not.
So first lap around this place, Mitchell gets himself a 2-second lead over Johan Hart. Then for those who are unaware of the strategy behind the Joker laps, typically you want to try to keep yourself as clean track as possible. Bobby Zelensky fights with James Edens through the sector after the jump, and on the run now down to that tight right-hand hairpin. They get themselves back single file, and Bobby able to take that apex away. Now down through this high-speed section. High-speed S is flat out put to the floor in these things, but they're not very aerodynamic and very, very high ride height, so feels like threading a needle really is Connor Parisi. He's going to take the Joker right now in that Reddit-skinned Ford Fiesta, as well as Garrett Lowe behind. They're both going to get themselves through. Garrett gets just past Bobby Zelensky, but Bobby still owes us a Joker lap, I do believe. So when he eventually hits that, we're going to see him easily jump at least that low with that Volkswagen. I take that back because Bobby Zelensky gets tagged, and he ends up getting pushed wide, so he ends up picking the spot from Garrett Lowe regardless, but at what cost? And he dropped another one to James Edens.
I think what happened, Garrett Lowe had completely, he had oversped and he had slowed up. I think he might have hit the barrier there, and that kind of sent him. And I think Zelensky just tried to go right through as if he was expecting him to fall off the track. Edens was the one that was happy with that one. He was able to slip right on by, and Bobby Zelensky, who finished 6th at Daytona on Tuesday, manages to well, get involved in an incident early here.
So working lap number 4 of 5 here with about a lap and a half or so to go, as Mitchell is, well, pretty much going to be uncontested here up here at the hairpin. Johan Hart comfortably in that 2nd spot with Connor Parisi slotting himself into 3rd as they run themselves now down this long sort of back straightaway once again. Bobby Zelensky still has yet to take his Joker lap, so when will he be able to do so? It's going to be a big question on if he's close enough to get James Edens. About a 2.5 to 3 second delta, and he's sort of right on the edge of being in that buffer, 2.7 seconds back off of James Edens as they work themselves across the timing beam for the white flag here on heat race number 1. And let's take a look at the timing now. Timing and scoring says 2.5 seconds still between Bobby Zelensky and James Edens, so it's going to be tight between those two over which one of them ends up potentially being able to get themselves into this heat race as they work themselves now down towards the hairpin and down the back straight once again. Mitchell pretty much free and clear, 3.5 seconds away from Johan Hart, who has a comfortable buffer in 2nd as well. Connor Parisi sits in 3rd with James Edens in that 4th position right now. But where's Bobby Zelensky going to come out after the Joker? We know Mitchell is going to win. We know 2nd place is pretty much sorted, but will that bright orange Volkswagen be able to transfer his way directly into the feature? He comes through the Joker, and the answer is going to be no. He's going to finish in that 5th spot, 1 spot away, so he's going to have to get it done through the last chance qualifier here tonight. Moving on down the order here as we get towards heat race number 2. Starting screen for that coming up on your screen right now. Apex driver Stelian Chipolewski waving the Volkswagen flag tonight. He starts on the pole with Jake Hewlett, VRS Coanda Simsport teammate of Mitchell de Jong. He's going to be rolling off in 2nd. Fabian Menetre rolling off 3rd with Sindre Setsas 4th. Anton Carlson in 5th, and Jawad Karoni rounding out the 6 cars grid for heat race number 2. A lot of Fords on the back row here of heat race number 2. I believe the front row is pretty much going to be entirely Volkswagens except for Menetre. So if you're a fan of the blue oval, you're going to be a fan of heat race number 2. As everyone's on the grid, revs begin to build, lights go out, and the greens come on as we get ready here for heat race number 2. It's a good jump from Jake Hewlett in the middle. He might be able to take the line away from Stillian, but he's going to choose not to through corner number 1. Up now towards the timing, being side by side for Haskin. Hewlett do a copycat of what Mitchell did a few weeks ago. Yes, he can. And Hewlett from the outside line into the chicane takes the lead. Not a comfortable landing though on the jump though, Cam.
I was very impressed to see Jake. He could have perhaps pushed the issue going into 1, but we've seen that end in tears way too many times. He was able to power the outside, got it. I thought he would have lost it. Coming off the corner, here comes Chipolevsky. I think he almost gave him a little bit of a push, not a shot, but a push. Going through that corner exit, Jake Hewlett was able to cover through. They cut through the grass right next to the pit wall. They continue here at Daytona.
Stillion's not going to take the jumper. The Joker, Jake Hewlett, however, is. And I think this is a good option here from Stilian Chepolevsky, because Stillion had a very considerable pace advantage over Jake Hewlett in qualifying. If he just can put in 1 or 2 clean laps and reel in Jake Hewlett, it'll be easy picking for him when he ends up taking that Joker. I don't think we had anyone outside of the leader take the Joker. Juan Caroni, he goes around and he collects Anton Carlson in the sector after the jump, but that allowed Fabian Menetre to just slip right on by, saying thank you very much in that VEC Ford Fiesta.
Yeah, we saw an incident very similar to what had happened before with that barrier, and Caroni and Carlson not going to be happy there. And actually, Caroni afterwards hit the next barrier, so he is actually going to be out of this heat race after picking up that damage. But Anton Carlson is now going to be chasing down Fabian Menetre. Not really going to matter that much. And Jake Hewlett, meanwhile, has lost position to Staley and Chepolevsky.
Stillion took the Joker. I think he did it a little bit early because he was quicker enough than Hewlett that he could have waited another lap and still had some clean track in front of him, but he would have been closer and the margin behind would have been much larger when he got it done. So I don't like this call from Stillion very much, but that said, you still always have to worry about drivers behind potentially taking the Joker as well, because that means the Sindre Setsas would have taken it. He would have come out in front of Stillion, so that's the main thing I think he's worried about. In towards the hairpin now for the 3rd time. 2 laps to go when they get to start finish, and the fight for the transfer spot is on and close once again as Anton Carlson is very close to Fabian Menetre as they come out from that final corner.
Yeah, and Chepolevsky is able to push a little bit of a gap in his Volkswagen as Jake Hewlett, he manages to tag one of the barriers, that outside barrier going on the entry to the right-hander. That is going to be a popular one to bump into, I guess, today. As here comes Hewlett. Oh, he had to get on the e-brake, I believe it. He was coming into the full head of steam for the battle for the lead here. But it looks to me like Stillion is able to really keep it over the Quanta driver of Jake Hewlett. And then he got Sindre Setsas. Well, he's on an island all his own. And we're going to have this fun little battle between Menetre and Carlson.
Jake's super good on the brakes compared to Stillion. I don't know if Stillion's being patient or what the deal is, but white flag is going to wave here in heat race number 2 as Carlson's going to take the Joker, and he's going to pick up that 4th spot from Fabian Menetre behind, so move that car ahead of the VEC Fiesta as currently as they run Volkswagen, Fiesta, as Joao Caroni is way down the order in pit lane, in fact, so he's not looking keen on finishing this heat race. Through the dirt hairpin here on the long layout of Daytona and down now this long back S's section where hit the highest speeds, I think, in pretty much any of the Rallycross circuits we have currently. Stillion hard on the brakes at the final corner. He is well and truly clear of Jake Hewlett. He just needs to not mess up, and he will take the win in heat race number 2 with Hewlett in 2nd. Sindre Setsas, he takes that Joker on the final lap, as well as Fabian Menetre, who's going to be able to jump just behind Anton Carlson, and that means that Fabian's going to be the one to transfer directly to the feature, whereas Carlson, he is going to have to get it done through the last chance qualifier, which is coming at you right now. So the top 4 from each heat races have been sorted. We have 4 drivers who have yet to transfer directly to the main event, and they're going to be fighting it out for the last 2 spots over the next 6 laps. Let's take a look at the 4 cars. Bobby Zielinski, Anton Carlson, Garrett Lowe, and Jawad Caroni. The 4 cars, top 2, transfer to the feature. Lights are on, and we are green in the consolation race. Bobby Zielinski has a big jump over both Carlson and Garrett Lowe through corner number 1 now for the first time, and Bobby well and truly clear, gonna be able to get into these S's pretty much uncontested, and Carlson, he just slots into the 2nd as well. Garrett Lowe gonna be patient in 3rd, and Jawad Caroni, he's rounding out the rear of this B main. They're going to be side by side. Garrett Lowe gets tagged. He's going to get sent around the wrong way, and Dwad Caroni, he's going to get collected. Aggressive racing on the landing of the jump once again.
Yeah, and it just looked to me like Carlson, he had to take the S is a little slower, and that means that there was a head of steam from Garrett Lowe. Garrett Lowe didn't really have time to throw his car sideways because he was almost side by side. Carlson was the one that threw sideways. They did not do Tokyo drifting, whatever the Japanese word for what they do is, where they go side by side close together, and that was not able to get done. And actually, Carlson is locked in on the rear of Bobby Zelensky. So Zelensky now has company here for the fight in the lead here, but we just got to remember is that, well, top two are the ones that transfer, and what we've always seen, Randy, is that the top two that transfer, they always seem to do well in the actual main.
That's something we have seen be very, very consistent over the last handful of weeks. Those drivers that start 9th and 10th, you consider it a disadvantage, but more often than not, at least one of them finds themselves in the top 5, if not somewhere around the podium at the end of these races. Neither of these top 2 took the Joker on the first lap, and neither of them going to do it here on lap 2, so these guys not too worried about it. With the likes of Caroni and Lowe having the issues they had, it's not really too much of an issue right now. Zelensky's going to get a bit of oversteer through the S's and be a little bit uneasy, in my opinion, through that sector of the racetrack, now through this tight hairpin sector following the jump, and Bobby just needs to be picture perfect here as we're coming up on a half distance, and he's doing a good job to stretch the distance here over Anton Carlson. And I think you're pretty much right, Cam. These two, they're looking very patient, not really pushing the issue. That said, Bobby's gotten very close to that blue wall on the exit of that hairpin at about the midway point of the lap. So, but beyond that, these guys aren't getting overly racy. Carlson's going to take the Joker right now. He's likely going to take the race lead because of it, but Zelensky shouldn't really need to worry about that too much. And he's still in a transfer spot, even if he messes up his Joker.
And the 191 individuals watching us now on iRacingLive and RaceSpot TV, helping me out here, it is tandem, according to actually Anton Carlson. He'll lose the inside line. Bobby Zelensky almost had a chance on it. Trying to interrupt my my little thing here, but someone else calls it togue, and someone else called it parallelizing, which I'm confident is not the word, but I will say, there you go. Well, Zelensky, he seems to be really hounding Anton Carlson, and he's had enough of it. He's just going to take the Joker and say goodbye.
So Bobby Zelensky is going to come through the Joker and take the race lead, and Anton Carlson is going to slide in a second. Meanwhile, Dwad Caroni and Garrett Lowe, they're looking like they're going to be having another lost weekend. That's a reference for you, Mr. Art Crenshaw. I appreciate the Wall of Voodoo references. Zelensky and Carlson work themselves through the sector following the jump once again, as up towards the hairpin of the midway point of the lap. Pretty much, I think it's going to be an uneventful lap and a half here, Cam, because for Bobby as well as Carlson, they're both going to start on the same row right alongside one another, so there's no point in doing something silly and throwing something for a risk. White flag lap right here, and, well, unless one of them royally mess up the jump, which we've seen in the past, then I think these two are going to easily transfer their way through.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty straightforward unless one of these guys hit the barrier or spin out, which we've seen happen a lot over this jump here at Daytona, just with how the jump is. You're coming into a corner, immediately jumping. Zelensky goes wide. He loses the rears, so we've got a fight for the lead here. Carlson, he's got an inside run. He'll have to back out of it, though. I don't think he wants to risk the damages as he tries the over-under, but it's not going to work. Zelensky parked his Volkswagen there.
Well done. Very good car placement there by Zelensky. Clipped the wall on the right, just exiting that hairpin, but beyond that, he's pretty much perfect, using a little bit of the grass through the S's and into the final corner. Carlson's nowhere near close enough on the brakes to even make anything happen, so he's going to come off, and he's going to take the checker flags here in the consolation race with Bobby Zelensky and Anton Carlson being the two transferring through. Dwad Caroni, he's going to finish in third. Going to be pretty frustrated with that, and fourth place runner is not even going to take the finish. That's going to be Garrett Lowe in the 12th. Oh, yep, he's cycling through, but big damage on that Volkswagen as he's going to come cycling down now. He still owes us a Joker lap, in fact, so he's going to hit that and then get the finish. So your top two of Zelensky and Carlson will transfer, where Caroni and Garrett Lowe, well, they're going to be on the outside looking in. But that now sets the grid for the 10-lap feature event here on the 11th round of Friday Night Dirt Night in 2018 Season 1. Mitchell DeYoung on pole with Stilian Chipolewski in that second spot. Johan Hart rounds out your top three. Jake Hewlett is in fourth, with Connor Parisi is in that fifth position. Sindre Setsa sixth, James Eden seventh, Fabian Menetre in eighth, Bobby Zelensky ninth, and Anton Carlson rounding out the top 10. We've seen the two people who transfer from that last chance qualifier be very, very quick and very, very fortunate the last handful of weeks. It's become a regular thing and a regular talking point on these Friday night broadcasts. Will we see that happen once again, or is it going to be chaos in the mid-pack? Mitchell DeJong, picture perfect through the first 10 rounds, has yet to lose a single one of these races. That said, all 10 cars on the grid, ready to begin to build. And we release 40-wheel drive off towards corner number 1 for the penultimate round here. Penultimate feature event in Friday Night Dirt Night through corner number 1 for the first time. Little bit of shuffling, but everyone's through mostly clean. Couple cars get sent out a little bit, but no major contacts. Through the S's now. Will all 10 cars get through this sector of the racetrack clean? Johan Hart, a little bit of an awkward landing on the jump, but I think everyone's through clean for the first time. Setsas and Zelensky, they were trying to be patient, and somehow Cendre gets sent around.
Now, what happened there is they got stuck behind Paris, and Cendre Setsas got a lovely nip for Bobby Zelensky. They tangoed, and then they continued to play tango going over the ramp. So Bobby Zelensky not happy with Setsas or something to that effect. But either way, everyone managed to get themselves clear through, and we've got good racing going on here. A couple of cars taking the Joker lap.
Oh, Steely Chipolevsky, big instant, Fabian Menetre, 2 and 3 cars get sent halfway around. Drivers who are not taking the Joker lap. Not really sure what happened here, as these drivers just went into the final corner. Fabian Menetre actually started out in front of them. I think they may have just flat out missed their braking point as Jake Hewlett. Oh, I see what happened. Jake missed his braking point for the Joker. It was trying to play mind games, and I have to say, Cam, when you take that inside line and try to duck out at the last second like Jake Hewlett just did, you're only ever going to cause a stack up like that. I think even though Jake Hewlett was ahead, I think he's the reason that big shuffle just happened behind him.
I don't even think Hewlett was anticipating taking the Joker. I seriously think he was just planning on both him and Johan to continue to go straight, and he made a reactionary maneuver. I don't even think he was expecting it. To be completely honest, I don't think it was premeditated, which, I mean, totally, I could understand that it would be, but I just don't think in this instance it was. Caused that stack up. Menetre's car was damaged to the point that he actually pulled off and let everyone by, so very strange. I think he had to feel up his car, see what was going on with the machinery, because he was not a happy camper with it. As Zelensky, his poor night continues as he is dropped well back to the bottom there, and with some more issues. But overall, up front, you've got Mitchell DeJong, and then you've got Johan Hart, and the field is kind of been torn asunder because of all the incidents.
Bobby Zelensky, I think, used up all his luck on Tuesday night in the NASCAR Peak Indy Free Series, iRacing Series season opener at Daytona. Coming home with a good 6th place finish from him. Everyone else still pretty much single file. Closest fight between Connor Parisi and Anton Carlson as they work through the sector following the jump. Also have Stilian Chipolevsky, who I think has pretty major damage, Cam, because that Volkswagen, look at the amount of wheel input he's having to put into that thing driving down the straights. That Volkswagen, that Apex Volkswagen, is pretty much crippled out there.
Yeah, not an easy drive, I don't think, but it's one of those strange days. I think perhaps I'd like to lead into, well, you know, we had this in Phoenix. It's just a continuation of that incident with Jake Hewlett. I mean, totally on him, but I don't think it was anything intentional. I think you had a silly incident between Setsas and Zelensky, but outside of that, it's been just cars kind of leaning on each other and trying to avoid the barriers, so it's been unfortunate. But it hasn't been the silliness that we've seen last week, but it is still, at the end of the day, a difficult run as your podium is completely separated from each other. I mean, it's like somewhat 10 seconds, I'd have to say, between your front 3 running cars.
7 seconds to be exact, and that's probably going to grow even larger as Mitchell DeJong is putting in the fastest lap times of anybody. He just did a 39.9. Everyone else is in the mid to high 40s, and it goes out to 7.5 seconds. Connor Parisi is in 4th, still fighting with Anton Carlson, and we both kind of said it, Cam. Those drivers that come from the consolation race have tended to have very good luck, and here's Anton in 5th and harassing the backer of Connor Parisi for this 4th position here amongst the top 5. I'm trying to think both of these drivers still owe us Joker laps, so pretty much either of their games still.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I mean, the paint scheme on that machine, by the way, very interesting with the 1337 Motorsport board. with the skull on the front of there. Yes, and Pratt's trying to. I noticed a lot of these cars, they really are putting in a lot of effort in the paint schemes, trying to get noticed on that good old Red Bull GRC page that does the top 5 or whatever of their paint schemes that are submitted. So cool on them. But yeah, I got to say for Anton Carlson, I mean, he certainly can catch Connor Parise in the time that we have left. It's 3 laps. I got to kind of wonder here. I don't think they're going to catch anyone else unless they catch a tire barrier, which has been happening almost every lap. People have been tagging tire barriers left and right, which is interesting, to be fair. But I think we still got this good battle here. He might take a dip out of Parise. He does.
So right now, Anton Carlson very close to the back of Connor Parise, and I think we're going to see one of these drivers hit the Joker very, very soon. They both owe us one as we're working lap 8 of 10, and I think, Cam, you're in this situation where you want to do it sooner rather than later, and I think Carlson is the quicker driver than Connor Parise. I think if I was him, I would have looked to do it that time through, and if not, I think Carlson is basically one of those situations. If Connor slots himself on the racetrack to use the Joker, you should probably either follow him, and if he doesn't take the Joker, you definitely need to take it right here. Let's see what happens. Connor Parise is going to slot through, and he's going to take the regular lap, and here comes Carlson down to the shortcut, so he's going to be easily able to jump Connor right here, right now. Now he just needs to try to stretch a margin over this penultimate lap around this circuit to try to make it so that Connor cannot jump him in the Joker, but he did not get a good run through that chicane that led to the jump. Connor is closed up nicely, and Carlson is wide on that sector following the jump.
Yeah, and Connor Parise is able to fight back his position, gain everything that he might have lost through the Joker, and then he still has his Joker. He tries the over-under again. Nobody's really been able to push that Joker as they go underneath the boom of the camera. And it looks to me like Connor Parise, will he be coming down this time? I'm not quite sure. Yes, he will. So there you go. Connor Parise will find himself up front. I almost will say it looks like Johan Harth is getting caught by Jake Hewlett, but we're out of laps, and Jake Hewlett is spun and actually crashed into the wall, so this might be interesting here because here comes 4th and 5th.
Oh no, Jake, we've seen this from Hewlett so many times. He's been in for good finishes, but he throws it away, pushing with his knuckle to gain on the final laps, and let's see if he's going to lose anything. As Mitchell DeJong, he's going to come cycling down to the final set of corners. Mitchell is going to win here on the 11th time on Friday Night Dirt Night. And Connor Parise, he's gotten around Jake Hewlett, so Hewlett has lost that podium spot now down through the high-speed S's and into the final corner. Is Jake going to throw something up the inside? No, Connor's not even going to leave that door open. It's still Chipolewski and Carlson, 4 car drivers, all fighting for the final podium spot, and Connor Parise is going to take it. Jake Hewlett is going to have to be sick to his stomach, Cam, because that's a mistake that he keeps making week in and week out.
That is all on him. No one around him for 3 or 4 seconds to the front, 3 or 4 seconds to the back. I feel bad for him, but he did bring it upon himself. Gotta say, he lost it coming off the ramp. He wasn't able to get it straightened out, didn't want to ride the wall, so he stopped and had to put it, I believe he put it in reverse, or at least sorted himself out, and that allowed Connor to come in. And hey, if you're Connor Parise, you gotta take advantage of that. You've got to. You gotta make the aggressive maneuver. That's what he did. That's why he is now on the podium.
So with that, let's go down your post-race results following the race here at Daytona around number 11. Mitchell DeJong comes home with the big win with Johan Hartz in that 2nd spot. Connor Parise is in 3rd with Jake Hewlett 4th, and Anton Carlson rounding out the top 5. Stilian Chipolewski is in that 6th position with Fabian Menetre in 7th, James Edens 8th, Sindre Setsas 9th, and Bobby Zielinski rounds out the 10-car field, the bright orange Volkswagen punching bag. That continues as we're going to get to your post-race interviews right here, right now. And I'm already stood by the VRS Coin Sport driver of Mitchell DeJong as we get ready to bring you post-race coverage. Well, Mitchell, you've made it look easy once again, pretty much unchallenged in qualifying. You had very limited practice, but were still about 3/10 quicker than anybody else. Why are you so good in these things?
Oh, I think it's just a tricky car to drive. A matter of kind of putting it together and minimizing mistakes is the key. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, and obviously a little extra driving time and real stuff and all that. So I think that helps a lot. But no, it was a really good race anyway.
After today, you're going to have something like a 700-point lead going into the final round next week at Iowa. You have any worries that you're going to lose the championship?
Well, fortunately, with how the drop weeks work, yeah, we're safe now. So yeah, I'll have to drop the next race because of Blancpain starting.
Oh, come on.
Day.
You came into this one with no practice. You can run that one, too.
Come on, Mitchell.
Well,
you got to keep the streak alive. The Undertaker had to do it. You got to do it, too.
Oh, I would love to. But I need to wake up at like 4 a.m., so I need to really be on it.
Oh.
Those who aren't aware what Mitchell's talking about, Blancpain GT Championship kicks off next Saturday for the 6 hours of Bathurst. And how much practice been going into that, Mitchell? Because I know that there's been a lot of BOP adjustments coming through. How much practice have you guys at Coanda, and you in particular, been doing there for those cars?
Quite a bit. We made a mistake last year of kind of picking the wrong car, and we're making sure that we don't make that mistake again. So we are going to be well prepared and feeling pretty confident already with car choice and things like that. So yeah, hopefully we make the right choice, and really looking forward to the season.
All right, Mitchell, this is your opportunity. Any shout-outs, anyone you'd like to thank before you go into next week at Iowa? I know you're going to be here. You won't let the perfect. You won't throw away the 12 out of 12. You're too competitive.
Come on.
Well, of course, I'd love to thank all my teammates, especially yeah, Jake for doing this one as well, even when I was going to be absent for it, trying to keep Coanda up front, and of course all our partners, Virtual Racing School, Huizingveld, SimQuip, VTech, and We're in Design, Joel Real Timing, and of course you guys, RaceSpot, for broadcasting for us.
Thanks once again for joining us, Mitchell. For all of you in Mitchell's Twitch chat or on the YouTube chat, be sure to harass him on social media to race next week to make it 12 for 12. Question, I don't know what you have to question about Mitchell in order to get that to get him into that, but just make it happen. Thanks for joining us again, though, Mitchell, and good luck if you don't run on Friday, at least in the season opener at Bathurst.
Hold on.
Hey,
now.
thank you guys.
I will say, Mitchell, if you don't race this and you don't win, you're probably going to jinx your run at Bathurst, and something's probably going to happen to your car, and you're only going to have yourself to blame.
Oh no, don't say that.
I'm trying to get people to watch the race, okay?
Okay, we'll do it this way. You never know then.
Actually, wait, before we let you go, any inklings on car choice?
We'll find out next Saturday.
Oh, boo. All right, that's Mitchell, guys. Thanks for joining us again, Mitchell. We'll see you next time, bud.
Thanks, guys.
Moving on, we are going to have the third place finisher tonight in that Reddit Ford Fiesta. He's been a newcomer basically the last third or so of this championship, done very, very well for himself. That's going to be Cam Walsh, stood by with Connor Parisi.
Connor Parise coming into the RaceSpot TV booth, climbing out of a fairly hampered Ford Fiesta. It's definitely going to need a new front end on that one. But Connor, you seem to be having a fairly good battle towards the end of that race. You thought maybe you were going to get caught by the clutches of Anton Carlson. You guys changed joker laps, and then something magical seemed to happen on the last lap, and you find yourself on your podium. How's your race go?
Been pretty smooth. I was just happy to get off to a clean start without getting turned around. It seems like I've had a trouble, getting through the first couple of laps without spinning out. I can't even believe I'm making these races, let alone fighting for podium. So I'm just pumped to be here.
Yeah, and of course you were the top finishing Johan Harth is a Ford. Okay. Well, you seem to be doing good in the Ford, at least. The Volkswagen always seems to kind of have the edge, but I think that might just be more of a Michel de Jong thing than anything. But Daytona is a long circuit. How it seemed to me like everyone was taking the barriers out a lot. Is that something you're really trying to get yourselves not to do, or is it just something that's unavoidable?
This is definitely one of the harder tracks to miss the barriers on, especially going through the dirt after the jump. It's definitely not unavoidable, but I mean, if you're pushing for position and for speed, you're gonna hit them.
Yeah, and you managed to find yourself a third place finish, and it was definitely on the effort of the speed of the car and capitalizing on that mistake from Jake Hewlett. But either way, I'll just give the floor over to you, and you can thank and give a shout out to anyone you'd like to, and the floor is yours.
Gotta thank my wife, first of all, for letting me come up here and practice all the time. I got to thank Terry the Nerd Runner for giving me awesome paint jobs on my cars, and all my friends and family who are watching my streams, or the stream for this broadcast, and you guys for putting on these awesome shows.
All right, Connor Paris, thank you so very much for hopping in the booth with us, and we'll see you later tonight, right? You race the dirt ovals, if I remember correctly?
No, I was making a one-off helping out Terry Runner in that American Dirt Series, but I'll be trying to make those shows.
Well, there you go. All right, well, good best of luck. We'll see you soon, I'm sure, and you have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
Well, Randy, we had a fairly difficult day here at the Daytona Long, but you know what? I'd like to think that we still saw some pretty decent racing. Couple of mistakes, certainly not the best of things. A couple of misreads. At times we had some bad times going over the jumps, but overall, I'd say a pretty decent day.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race overall. The heats were good, like we've seen, but it is sort of one of those where everyone just sort of gets crammed in the feature race, isn't it? And struggle to see that close finish. But it was a lot more successful than what we saw in the desert last week, Cam. But we still have 2 more events before we round out this show. Late models coming up from the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. World of Outlaw Craftsman Late Model Series coming up at you from Volusia, and I think that's gonna be a good show.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's Volusia. I think Volusia always seems to be... We've gotten over the early curse, and we've actually kind of really gotten this into a pretty fair racing circuit. People are really falling in love with it, which makes me extraordinarily happy. So we'll get over there, and I'll crunch the mileage numbers, because I know that annoys Randy, and we'll see how long we have to travel to get over there.
It's not going to be that far, because it's probably only a couple...
Florida.
Yeah. I think it's only like 50 or 60 miles away from the track, if that. From Daytona, that is.
Let's get in the car and let's find out. But yeah, no, either way, I'm pretty excited about it. The late models put on a good show last night, and they seem to be doing good. So let's see how they do.
Well, thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, for the first leg of Friday Night Dirt Night here on RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive. Second leg coming at you with the World of Outlaw Craftsman late models from Volusia, and then at the end of the show, we're going to have the World of Outlaw Craftsman Sprint Cars at what has typically been their best track at Eldora. Be sure to tune in for that in just a few moments. Don't go away on RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive.
I grew up in Northern California. My parents were just really big race fans and took my sister and I to sprint car races pretty much every Friday and Saturday night. So I did outlaw kart racing from 7 till I was 14. And then that's when I got into 360 and 410 wing sprint cars. There's just something about dirt racing that's just, you can't get anywhere else. I enjoy going back to race them whenever I can. I get to run about 20 to 25 dirt races a year and try and put on a show every time I'm there.
Battle for the lead! Kyle Larson to the inside of Shane Stewart, slide job, no! Larson unable to complete the pass, he'll follow Shane Stewart down the back straightaway. Stewart makes the move to the inside of Craig Kinsler. Kyle Larson goes around the outside out of turn 4. You've got a new race leader. Kyle Larson from 9th leads on lap number 23.
I'm probably just a little more relaxed, I guess, at the dirt track just because it's for fun, where the NASCAR stuff, it's points racing and a lot bigger sponsors and stuff you have to please and all that. You're there for 3 days a week, so your approach is a little bit different there, where sprint cars you're there for 5 or 6 hours and moving on to the next racetrack. So I've been on iRacing, I think, since 2009 or 10. Yeah, I remember, yeah, starting out, I mean, as a rookie on there, you know, in the Legends and the late models and stuff like that. And that was fun to, you know, have to try and get your licenses up and stuff. But it's amazing to me how, now that I get to race on a lot of the tracks that are on there, how to the T, similar because of the laser scanning and stuff like that. So all the bumps and, you know, all the visual aspects of it are very good. So when I first got to like K&N and then the Nationwide Series at the time, I would race iRacing all the time to, you know, learn as much as I could about the racetrack before I went to the actual racetrack to race. So to me, it's just for fun now. So I enjoy going on there. Actually, I don't enjoy going on there all the time because I don't win a lot. So it's frustrating to see myself struggle to run top 10 in an Xfinity race or something like that and get beat by Logan Seavey every time I run a sprint car. So the level of competition on iRacing is better than real life. I mean, you've got thousands of drivers on there that, you know, a lot of them are probably better than the people you see on TV. They just haven't had the opportunities to make it, but can kick butt on there, and you can spend all day long running thousands of laps a day, so you can get yourself, you know, really good at it. So competition level is just unbelievable, really, on there. I mean, everybody's been asking for dirt on there for forever. So when they announced it, I got really, really excited. And honestly, it's blown my expectations away. The cars, to me, drive really good when the track's hooked up. The visual part of the racetrack changing is amazing. How you can run some laps and see it start to get shiny, and then you feel it getting, you know, slick. You know, areas of the racetrack getting dirty, and then, you know, you get some cars run through there and it cleans off and gets grip back. It's nuts. You know, the tear-off feature is really cool. You know, watching the wing move backwards and forwards. I run with the virtual reality headset too, so being able to like look down and see everything, it looks extremely realistic. So yeah, it blew my expectations away. And it's only gonna get better, really.
Gentlemen, boys and girls, we take the highway over to Barberville. It's time to go getting some super late models here on iRacingLive and RaceSpot TV for the second leg of iRacing Dirt Night. Volusia Speedway Park gives host to the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Series. Myself, Cam Walsh, Randy Chenowth, and Hugo Louie trying to figure out how to do some camera stuff as we've got practice underway. Cars parked on the infield, cars ready to get out on track action. And boy, are we going to have a good one here tonight. 20 cars on the docket. And hopefully that means we get a consolation race and we get some good running. Will we see one being the loneliest number? Well, we'll have to find out.
That's going to be the big thing here. Thanks once again, guys. And we saw the sprint cars here last week. that is when the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, they had their season opener here, and the late models, they just ran through as well. So Brandon Shepard, his first win on the closing night here in Barberville for that championship. So doing a good job as iRacing here, Cam. Well timing these races in regards to the real World of Outlaws series here in Barberville.
Absolutely, and Randy, I have a very important question to ask you.
No.
Are we going to be taking I-95 north to Florida 40 west, or are we going to take US 92 International Speedway Boulevard? It's about a difference of 7 miles. It's about
I'm not a pleb
minutes.
like you. I have a helicopter.
It's 20. I see. Hugo's spending the money on you. All right. Either way, we're looking at the point standings right now. Well, it's Howard Weaver. He's got about maybe 30, 40 points over John Fiddler. Austin Silverman's in third. Jacob Leverstein, Virgil Graham. Jacob Fields, Lucas Chowning, Tyler Hudson is in there. Zach Rounds and Jordan Wesley. So we'll see whom is in attendance as the qualifying laps are coming in strong. Alex Bergeron out on track and his number 1 machine, that VLR super late model, running strong as he did a good showing last night in the ADS series, private hosted series. And now he's here in the iRacing official series, running strong laps in Volusia, Randy. I like it. It runs quick. It's a bowl. It reminds me of Brewerton Speedway, though it's like twice as big. I gotta say, I think we've kind of defeated the curse finally. I think it's because we started racing things at night. The demons only come out in the sun, I suppose.
We mentioned the fact that Alex Bergeron had a big night last night. He just threw that number 1 machine up on pole. Howard Weaver is in second. You know, he's not going to be happy about that, is Howard, as he's just out there running a little bit more practice laps. But you're right, I've taken a little bit more liking to Volusia as well. I ran it a lot last week. I haven't gotten a chance to do much running this week in the sprint cars, but I'm sure I'm going to get some more because I've pretty much caught that bug again. But Volusia was a lot of fun last week in those things, and they put on a very, very good show for us on Friday night. Hopefully these late model guys can put up an equally good one, but this is going to be pretty tight quarters for these super lates here as we get ready to close out qual.
Yeah, and Alex Bergeron, if I'm remembering correctly, I believe he placed in third. And your winner for last night's 60-lap feature at Knoxville was Howard Weaver. So, interesting how we're going to see that roll out. A couple more cars still qualifying. Mike Molnar is out there in his number 15, getting some lap times in. So that T2R number machine is coming across the line. There we go. And qualifying time. He managed to squeak that lap time in. He didn't have but a moment, as now we simply have the pace truck out on the running. How fast do you think the pace truck can run around this track? I've seen these trucks have to go around tracks pretty quickly. Why can't we race this, Randy? Why can't we race the unmarked, unspecified, unbranded pace truck?
We'll be able to do even better than that once we get the trophy trucks that we know are coming.
I know, but this one's cooler. It's got aluminum rims and an earth bar on the bottom to step in for short people. You don't get that in a trophy truck, Randy.
Yeah, but you get 30 miles of suspension travel in a trophy truck.
It has a tonneau cover on the back.
Oh, okay.
What other race cars have tonneau covers? Either way, Heat 1 getting underway. As it is Alex Bergeron, and he's got John Fiddler, his outside. So this is going to be fairly interesting. As you've got, this is actually kind of a star-studded late model heat race here. Virgil Graham is going to be starting third. Austin Sullivan's there. Josh Phillips, Jacob Leverstein, J.D. Brown. James Edens is finding himself once again in his completely white automobile. Lucas Chowning and Satori Ono. And Satori Ono is an Asian driver, so good to see that we've got drivers from all over the world. The Far East Circle Track Racing driver is here in attendance. I think this is the first time he's made a Monday, made a mistake there. The Friday night broadcast. As the lights are out on the pace truck, don't judge me. James Edens doing a little bit of a 3-wide salute, I suppose. As the lights are out on the pace truck, and we are going to get underway for heat number 1. So you're watching iRacing Live? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
I thought you were, closing it out there, but you're right. It's good to see someone like Satsuro out there and getting some of the international participation, especially in stuff like this, which is very much so catered to an American market, and he's looking pretty good out there in qualifying. Was the slowest on the timesheets, but was still competitive as these guys head in towards 3 and 4. Heat race number 1 coming at you right now.
And we've got one Australian as well, Jordan McDonald. So here we go. Here comes Alex Bergeron. He rocks and roll. Austin Silverman, he looked like he was going to have a good charge on the inside line. Decides to stay high side. And it is John Findler who washes out. And Austin Silverman loses 3 wide, coming across.
Oh, and a little bit of incidents in the back. These are the 2 machine of Austin Selman. He goes from 4th all the way to the last running car in this heat race, so he's going to have to make some magic happen. He needs to pick up 3 spots to guarantee a transfer. I'm not sure if we're going to get a last chance qualifier. And this one here is Alex Bergeron. He's coming to the end of lap number 2 already, doing a good job with that race lead as they're nose to tail between Fiddler, Phillips, Leverstein, and Chowning.
Yeah, good running from Bergeron up front. He's searching for the grip right now, staying high side. Everyone pretty much running high, and anyone that runs low slides high. So kind of definitely going to have to keep an eye out on that one. So it's VLR right now over the team. The team Friday, if I'm reading the hood correctly, I'm bad at reading things at speed. The number 9 machine, and then you've got John Fiddler, Phillips, Leverstein, and Chowning is kind of your battle. And this is not the first time that we've seen Chowning in battles. Chowning seems to find himself just caught in these battles repeatedly as we are halfway through this heat race.
This is one of the big things. Some of these guys, they tend to fight a little bit harder than others. As Phillips washes a little bit up through 1 and 2, that's going to allow Leverstein to come in, but that inside groove is a little bit slickened off, so nowhere to really make moves just yet. As you see, everyone's pretty much running that middle groove, putting those right tires just above the slick stuff in the corners is the fast way around this racetrack right now. And that, as you see, Phillips not quite the quickest here over Leverstein. Leverstein might throw something and try to work through the slick here in 3 and 4, but you can see, look how much pace he loses. But can he get a good run off the corner? He got the short way around, 3 car fully alongside with 2 laps to go in this heat race.
He's trying to push his way through. He's going to have to door the car of Josh Phillips if he wants to get him through. He's going to have to lift that car up the racetrack and out onto the cushion, off the cushion, but he's not going to be able to do it. Josh Phillips is able to power through. That means we're on the final lap right now. White flag of the Alex Bergeron. He has got a comfortable lead over Virgil Graham and John Fiddler. So Alex Bergeron comes off a high side, going about 85 miles an hour through the middle of the corner. He'll let the throttle down, and he'll cross the start-finish line going 100. As Virgil Graham will finish second. A good bit of a drag race between Jacob Leverstein and Josh Phillips, but Phillips had that outside line, kind of figured he'd have the entrance. The whole shot down to the start-finish line, that's exactly what happens. So, the Heat 1 results, Bergeron Graham, Fiddler Phillips, Leverstein, Chowning, Eden, Selman, Brown, and then Satori Ono. So, we are going to Heats number 2. That is going to be Howard Weaver, Mike Molnar, Jacob Fields, Chris McGuire, Jesse Carr, Austin Matthews, Jordan Wesley, and then you've got Corey Ward, Jordan McDonald, and then... this is going to be a fun one. Derek Fenkenhauer.
Yeah, Derek Fenkenhauer. I think it's. I'm going to assume that's of like German descent. There, he's from Club Midwest, so that's going to be a little anticlimactic in that one. But Field's going to set themselves off, and Howard Weaver is going to take them to green here in the second heat race. And you're pretty much right, Cam. Star-studded in the first one. The second heat race, a little bit of a sleeper. Howard's a big name in this one. You also have Jacob Fields, but outside of that, Mike Molnar has been quick as well a couple of times this season. But outside of that, most of the guys pretty much sight unseen in my mind. Also, I think Mike has his name upside down on the roof there, just above his head. So someone needs to tell him he needs to hire a new painter.
Looking at it right now, I don't even see his name on the car.
Next to the number on the top, it's in white text.
Don't see it. I'm looking.
I'll refresh Trading Paints.
You refresh your paint. I just did. He's got Molnar behind his head. And that is correct. He's driving a Chevy SS, which is weird. They don't even make those anymore. Anyways, lights are out on the Pace truck, which means that this time by, we're going to go green. And I would like to refute your point that this is going to be a sleeper, because what this means is it's unknown names. That means these guys might be racing close together, put on a great show here on iRacingLive RaceSpot TV. So heat number 2, we'll see what happens. We just clicked past 9 o'clock Eastern time. We're just getting ready for heat number 2 here on RaceSpot TV. Pace truck is going to pull in, tonneau cover and all, to the infield, and Mike Molnar absolutely tries to launch it, and he will lose out. Howard Weaver saw him push, and he went, I'm just going to wait here. And Mike Molnar has to pull his way all the way to the back. That is a massive shot. I've never seen that before.
Jordan Wesley got into some issues as Mike Molnar. He's way down the order in that 15 car. Not sure sort of issues he's having out here. I don't know if he's got a black flag or what. Indeed he does. So Mike Molnar, he's going to come down, and that's going to start him from the back in the feature.
Yeah, and I think he's just, I'm not sure if it's a stop and go. If it's a stop and go, good luck finding the actual pit stall to stop in. So I think he's just going to probably retire the car. Nope, he's going to get ready to rock and roll, but he's already going to be a lap and a half down, which is, you know, he might be able to make up in 5 laps, but I'm highly doubting it. Howard Weaver, he's covering first right now. Fields, McGuire, Carr, Matthews, McDonald, Wesley, and Ward.
Howard continues to lead the way here, so that's honestly what you come to expect is Team VLR in that first heat race dominated with Alex Bergeron, and now Team VLR with Mr. Howard Weaver dominating out here out in front. Jacob Field in that second spot, Chris McGuire third, Jesse Carr and Austin Matthews rounding out your top 5. Close fight here between McDonald and Wesley towards the tail end of this second heat race. McDonald up top, not having the speed he needs. Wesley looking quick down low. Wesley got shuffled down to the back of this heat race at the start, tries to slide up and just barely gets cleared, taps the outside wall in the process.
McDonald wants to run that inside line to counter, but the inside line just isn't there. The car, the track started with, quote, low usage, unquote, as we're on board with Jordan McDonald, the Australian driver, as he tries to chase on down that number 12 machine of Jordan Wesley. You can see how sideways he gets. Basically, the camera's just looking at the pit wall, and then you just see that orange machine coming into view as they run through corners again. And here we go. This is going to start our final lap here. Howard Weaver been unchallenged in his number 6 machine. So the orange and black of Howard Weaver coming across the start and finish line. He's dropped down to 80 mile an hour in the mid-corner apex. He lets the throttle go. Howard Weaver will pick up the checker flag for heat number 2. And we got Fields, McGuire, Carr, Matthews, Wesley, and Corey, Ward, and Jordan McDonald, I believe, had spun at some point. So that's going to put him down the order. And then Mike Molnar. So it is official result. Weaver, Fields, McGuire, Carr, Matthews, Wesley, Ward, McDonald, Molnar. We go to the consolation race. And this is the important thing here. This consolation race will have the top, will only have the top 4 transfer, which means we're actually going to be fighting for 2 positions, Randy. Normally we only fight for 1.
Yeah, so only 2 cars will be on the outside looking in. There's a couple big names in this one. You have Mike Molnar, Jordan McDonald, and I think the biggest one in this last chance qualifier, Cam, is going to be Austin Selman. So there's 3 names I think that need to be really aggressive getting their way to the front, but also have some other names that, even though you're not typically used to seeing them, like the Satoru Ono and Derek Fedkenauer, the fact that those guys are in there, they're going to be fighting really hard trying to make something happen as well.
The only person he didn't mention is J.D. Brown. It is a small field, so either way, starting order, it's Selman, McDonald, Brown, Molnar, Ono, and then Fedkenauer. So as the cars are rolling behind the pace truck, once again, we're on board with the number 6
5
machine.
cars. Derek didn't take the grid.
Oh boy. Well, there you go. So a 5-car field, which means that only 1 is going to be the real untransfer. So Austin Silman, we're looking at Santeri Ono right now as these guys are getting ready to rock and roll. Lights are out on the pacing truck here at Volusia. Barberville, Florida, playing host once again to the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Series here on iRacing, as these guys get ready, feeling each other out for the future. And the future looks so very bright, Randy. These guys, potentially, we might see some World Pro Series drivers here for the World of Outlaws Pro Series that is upcoming. But of course, they got to get done with this season, and we've got to have a qualifying season, which that's going to be crazy, because that's going to set you up for qualifying for the Championship Series. Championship Series, get the legendary iRacing black stripe on your helmet, signifying you're a pro driver. And here comes the pace truck pulling in. First, you got to get the points. First, you got to get the finishes. Austin Selman, he's got the whole shot.
Got to get the points, got to get the finishes, and you got to get on the throttle. That's exactly what Austin Selman did as he jumps out to a big lead. JD Brown in second. Satoru Ono doing very good. Started 5th in this heat race, and he's already fighting for 3rd as Mike Molnar is currently down in that 4th spot. That 19 car says, I'm from Asia. We don't have these things in this part of the world, but I'm going to learn how to wheel him, and he's up top through 1 and 2 for the second lap of 10 in this last chance qualifier. He's going to drop back to 4th as Mike has good traction on the bottom, but now it's Jordan McDonald who he needs to try to get around that number 19 machine and get himself into this thing.
Yeah, and these guys, I'm pretty confident. For me, I think it's mostly, the dirt track racing that they do is mostly flat track, like AMA motorcycle racing, basically. That's the only real Japanese motorsport that isn't GT racing I'm familiar with anyways, as Austin Silverman has booked it. Mike Molnar, I thought he was going to have a bad start, but he recovered nicely, and he's now running 2nd. JD Brown in 3rd, and Santeri Ono is running 4th, and he's trying to cover from Jordan McDonald. He gets a nip from the Australian. He finds himself recovered very nicely. He almost went in the pit wall. He's now spooled up his 800 horsepower motor, and he's now got a chase to get back up front to Jordan McDonald. But McDonald there, a little too much power on the outside.
Yeah, that's how I see that too. Jordan he pretty much just threw it in there. Everyone's going to be pretty much running that top side. We haven't seen a lot of them. They're moving down to the bottom now, just so they say that. So I think that was pretty over-aggressive there by Jordan, but you're going to get that in these sort of last chance qualifier situations where people try to get themselves in. Let's see if Satoru can end up responding here, maybe recovering. It's a big gap he needs to try to make up, about 1.5 seconds, and it's going to stretch out a little bit as he cycles through. He's about 1/10 of a second down from where he needs to be. So unfortunate there for the Asian, or for the Japanese, I believe is where Satoru is from, if memory serves me right. He's seen him a lot on the sim, so he's going to try to get himself up there.
Yeah, happy to have him. I mean, really, it's interesting to see. And if there's other Far East Circle Track Racing drivers, like it's a team, that's going to be pretty nice. So he is a member of TCR Japan, and I do like how he's got the whole paint scheme set up. I mean, I'm pretty happy. I know we constantly are talking about him basically all race, but I got to say, I'm very happy to have more international presence, as Austin Selman has basically taken away and just his all-black paint scheme over Mike Molnar. I do like the blue on Mike Molnar's, that steel cobalty blue. I kind of like it. Lime green numbers, not sure. He's got a yellow number 2 on the hood. Why wouldn't he have yellow numbers? I don't know. And then you've got JD Brown, and then you've got Jordan McDonald and Santeri Ono. So it doesn't look like Ono's going to be able to make it as they come across the start-finish line. Austin Selman takes the victory in the consolation race, and Santeri Ono is not going to be able to make it after that power move from Jordan McDonald. So McDonald is your last qualifier. And Randy, I thought pretty fair. Maybe not so interesting because we didn't have 6 cars. We only had 5, but you know, it was racing.
Yeah, it was pretty good stuff, and unfortunate we saw the 2 drivers from the Pacific region get into each other there, but things gotta sometimes happen when people are racing close. But 18 cars, Cam, gonna be bringing us to green for 40 laps of running here in this feature. Starting grid coming at you from Mr. Cam Walsh.
And the music started, the fireworks started, and we have a correction. Jordan McDonald's actually from New Zealand. Alex Bergeron will be starting. Pretty much. Alex Bergeron will be starting from the first position. His outside Howard Weaver. Virgil Graham will be starting in 3rd. Jacob Fields in 4th. John Fedler will be starting in the 5th position. Chris K. McGuire will be starting in 6th. Josh Phillips in 7th. Jesse Carr in 8th. Jacob Leverstein in 9th. Cars are rolling. Austin Matthews will be starting in the 10th position. Lucas Chowning. Then you've got Jordan Wesley, James Edens, Corey Ward. Austin Silverman starts way in the back at 15. Mike Molnar, JD Brown, and then Jordan McDonald. So let's get ready to rumble. Actually, no, you can't say that. That's how you get lawsuits. Let's get ready to have a dirt track race here at Volusia. As cars are getting ready, they're apparently trying to warm up their tires. That's not how those tires work, gentlemen, but hey, I'm only the one in the commentary booth. So, Alex Bergeron will be leading us to the green here. It is going to be an 18-car field. Randy, I'm pretty excited about this one.
18 cars, 40 laps. These late models have consistently put on the best action here as They're going to be getting the 1-to-go signal from the the flag stand, not the fan stand, right here, right now. And now it's just a big eye on what is Alex going to do and Howard Weaver. Howard, I think, has consistently been the best driver on the sim in these Dirt Super late models. He's so consistent everywhere. Every league I've watched, the official series I've watched, Howard has really been the one to set the bar. How is Alex going to deal with that number 6 hounding down his neck all night?
Yeah, so let's see. Alex Bergeron didn't really have an opportunity at the 60 laps at Knoxville last night. Green for the World of Outlaws Craftsman Super Late Model Series.
Last time I saw someone get on the gas that early, it was Tim Ryan. Here's Alex Bergeron. Stretches to a big margin here, off towards 3 and 4. Fight for for second between Virgil Graham and Howard Weaver. Through corners number 3 and 4, and off towards the front straightaway. So lap number 1, of course, going to 2. Mr. Alex Bergeron, but Howard Weaver dealing with the assault from Virgil Graham behind. Also have Jacob Fields very tight to that as well. They're side by side behind that. That's Josh Phillips and John Fiddler. Fiddler as they work through 3 and 4.
Alex Bergeron is pulling away. Howard Weaver isn't really able to do much about it right now because he has got the pair of Virgil Graham and Jacob Fields trying to close into his machine. They keep going through the corners. The track is getting ever worn in the meantime. Alex Bergeron, the line seems to be slipping down, which is important here. These drivers are searching for grip. Bergeron's high in 1 and 2, low in 3 and 4, which is pretty standard in Volusia. He almost clipped the pit wall, as it looks to me like Bergeron's rear might be slipping here on the backstretch. That's allowing the field to catch up. Look at the angle of attack. Running about maybe 30 degrees, swinging these rears out, these fat right rear tires, trying to get their way through. And this battle between Virgil Graham and Jacob Fields is finally getting sorted out. Virgil Graham, the Team Friday guy, finally pulling on the outside.
Well, Alex seems to be struggling loose. Howard seems to have tightened that car up nicely, and he's getting phenomenal traction off these corners. That time through, though, Alex did a good job to recover and basically stretch a little bit more of a margin over Howard Weaver. So the fight for the race lead, I think, is going to get close. So there's Alex up top and Howard down along that inside wall. And look at the way Howard comes off the corner. He sort of diamonds off the run as he's up top through 1 and 2, and he's going to take a very narrow exit, whereas Alex, pretty much the same line entering the corner, stays all the way up against that high groove of the racetrack, and they're both down to the bottom in 3 and 4, where pretty much everyone behind are up to the top. They're 3 wide for a moment between Fiddler, Leverstein, and Phillips in your mid-pack.
Jacob Leverstein is rolling the inside line in his number 3, the very, very visually telling car, the turquoise and white with the height pinks. It's easy to pick out in a field. They are pulling his way through. He almost clips the tire barriers. The number 3 machine trying to close out. A pass on John Fiddler as he is trying his best to get through as we're on board with the right side here, as you can just see how much angle you've got. You can see the beautiful right side of that machine. Look at the suspension working on the number 7 machine, of course, expertly modeled here in the iRacing service. Leverstein, he's trying to close that inside loop. He's just unable to get it done. This inside line, Randy, seems to be fading away to favor the outside line, which is not what these guys wanted to see.
Yeah, sort of. The tractor's sort of coming and going as people are still searching for grip. The top groove still seems viable. The bottom groove still seems viable. So everyone's just finding different parts of the racetrack working right now. You see the one of Bergeron. He's way up the racetrack in that good dirt, not just putting that right rear just on the border of the slick stuff is what you typically want to do. 6 machine of Weaver, though, that last time through, he reeled Alex in by about 1/10 and a half. That 6 car is now right there, right on the rear bumper of that number 1 of his VLR teammate as they come off corner number 4. 6 machine going to try to make a move, I think, up top as Bergeron is going to run the middle. They're both going to run the middle, in fact. And Howard, I think, he's going to get a big run here off the bottom. There's no way that Alex is going to be clear here. Side by side in the 3 and 4 for your race lead. And Howard, is he going to get the traction down low? He's been there all night. No, not yet. Alex gets clear.
Toyota versus Chevrolet at the front here in the super late models in the World of Outlaws Craftsman late model series as Bergeron runs the outside. The number 6 machine of Howard Weaver's been running inside, and he's been getting closer and closer. And one of these times, I wouldn't be too surprised if we don't see a little bit of a door bang from Weaver to the inside of Alex Bergeron, just to kind of shove him up the track a little bit, take a little bit of his traction. That was almost a shot right there, another rear nerf bar, but he holds off yet. As the battle for third is heating up, Virgil Graham is taking the nose away from Jacob Fields. John Fiddler watching on. Leverstein has been stuck in 6th position. He wants to get up. Austin Selman, meanwhile, has been stuck. He started 15th. He's up to 13th. His number machine.
Alex Howard just gave Alex a big shot in 3 and 4. Sorry to interrupt you there, Cam, but that's going to put Howard Weaver into the race lead. And Alex Bergeron, he's not known for being passive. He's going to come right back on that 6th car and immediately put a fender on him as they head towards 3 and 4, fighting right back with Bergeron side by side as they come off the corner. And again, they make contact as Bergeron's going to shove him up the racetrack, and Alex is going to re-wrestle the race lead away as they make contact again in 1 and 2.
Yeah, remember how I said that Togue racing there? Well, there you go. They did that for a lap or so. You couldn't fit a piece of paper between their 2 doors as they transferred positions. Once again, now Bergeron's on the outside. Again, we are almost halfway through this feature event. Caution-free so far, but anything goes, especially when the doors start banging, as Howard Weaver has found himself. I think these guys are going to work themselves up. They're going to get more and more worked up as we're looking at the battle right now between Howard Weaver and Alex Bergeron. You're riding on board with that number 6 machine as we're looking pretty strong, I'd have to say. Now looking behind, Virgil Graham, Fields, Fiddler, Leverstein, and McGuire. McGuire now is getting impatient. McGuire wants to get up front. He's doing some good lap times in his number 5, but he just doesn't seem to be able to find anywhere to make the position, and that's kind of giving him trouble.
Howard's got another move down low, side by side with Alex again, and Alex scraped that outside wall. So Alex make that mistake in the sprint cars a couple times last week, and he just did it again. And Howard Weaver is going to retake your race lead for the 2nd time here, as we're just over half distance here in the 2nd leg of Friday Night Dirt Night in the World of Outlaw Craftsman late models. And Weaver's going to lead him to the line once again. And now Bergeron has a little bit more time that he has to make up than he did the last time through. How is he going to do it, especially when you have the charging Virgil Graham and Jacob Fields behind? They're going to be now just very, very tight and super close as Alex to getting into that 6th car.
We need a sponsor for the drone cam because I love how it looks, but I can't give a shout out to anyone. Anyone want to give us money to sponsor the drone cam, because you can see all of the movement with that overhead camera, and I love that. As if I was Alex Bergeron, I hate to say it, but I would wait. I'd let the track come to me, I'd find the grip, and I would sit back. You're halfway through this feature race. You've got a lot of running left to do. Virgil Graham doesn't seem to have the speed to catch you. Jacob Fields is trying a power move on the outside. Door gets closed from Virgil Graham, but Fields stays in it. His nose is just a hair's breadth away from the number 9 machine of Virgil Graham. He almost gives him a shot. He hangs up high. It almost looks like one car going through the corner. These guys almost look like their bumpers are connected. That's how they're keeping their angles through. And here it comes. Fields onto the inside. I wouldn't be too surprised if these guys don't start leaning on each other. And Jacob Leverstein, he wants some of this action too, as Chris McGuire under attack from John Fiddler, the number 7 machine.
All sorts of fights up and down with Chris McGuire. He's going to slide up and get into that 7 machine and John Fiddler. They're going to come across the stripe. That's going to allow McGuire to move into that 6th spot. Still side by side between those two, and they make contact off of corner number 2 once again as they head now down at the end of the back straightaway and in towards 3 and 4. It's that 5 machine and Chris McGuire still fighting with John Fiddler wheel to wheel. I think he might have the advantage. I'm not actually going to be sure who takes that spot away. There's a bit of contact between them again. That checks them both up, and that's going to put the 7 car back a couple of more spots. The 13 and the 4, they're going to put him behind them as well. So these guys looking very, very quick here.
And Jesse Carr, the number 13, gets through. James Eden does not. As there's a 4-car pack too with Austin Selman. They're going 3 wide now with Lucas Chowning, Austin Selman, John Phillips, and Mike Molnar. As this group here is running strong, as you got battles all around the racing track, even going further back to the rear of the field. Wesley Matthews, Ward, and J.D. Brown are even going at it. So it's only a matter of time, I think, before one of these cars has an incident, which is going to change everything, and hopefully we don't see that. If we get a green run, I am going to be ecstatic. Howard Weaver, he seems to be gapping Alex Bergeron. Alex Bergeron had to give a little bit of space to start figuring out where the track is. We've got 8 to go, and Bergeron, as they'll come through the lap times here, it was a 16.6 versus a 16.5. Bergeron's got the speed back.
Bergeron's reeling in the Tomato Man out in front. Here's Howard's trying to manage this gap as he comes now down to the closing stage. A lot of our fights are starting to get a little bit spread out now, Cam, because these guys have been green for so long. Lucas Chowling, though, he's still fighting with Mike Molnar as well as Josh Phillips. Those two are going to be side by side off of corner number 4. This is going to be, I believe, for the 11th, or excuse me, 12th and 13th spot, as Molnar didn't quite get it at the line that time through. They're still side by side, as looking out in front, Weaver answered a little bit to Alex Bergeron and is doing a good job to still maintain that gap. Alex is reeling him in ever so slightly, but I don't think it's by enough. 5 laps to go at the stripe.
Howard Weaver looking in control right now. He seems to be able to go tit for tat with Alex Bergeron's lap time. Virgil Graham, he's hovering in the background, so it's this 1, 2, 3, about a Mississippi gap between them to Jacob Fields, Leverstein, and McGuire. Leverstein wants to get by Fields. He looks like he's going to perhaps lean his front nose in just a hair. He looks like he's got a good run on the outside, or on the inside, to try the fight. On the outside is Jacob Fields. He's able to control the 1 and 2 corners, and so as such, they've got it. So Jacob Leverstein one more time. He's going to try. Nope, not in it. So Randy, before we get to the final stage, these guys looking strong.
Been a fantastic race through here. There's 3 laps to go, and well, out in front, it's still all Howard Weaver, and the fight is still on here in the mid-pack between Fields, Leverstein, and McGuire. Those 3, they slide through 3 and 4 and come back towards your front straightaway. All of them maintaining some form of overlap for a moment through the corner. They may have even been 3 wide, but a lap and a half left for Howard Weaver. He heads off into 3 and 4.
The number 6 car has gotten the gap. Bergeron's been trying to swing low, but he just isn't able to get it. The exit speed isn't going to be there when he takes the 10 lap much, and we are on lap number 40. We've had a green flag race from flag to flag here as Leverstein throws the slider. He's got it over Jacob Fields for 4th position, but here comes Howard Weaver. Coming off the corner about 70 mile an hour, about 15 mile an hour slower than he did before. You think he ran out of fuel, actually, but it's not going to matter. Bergeron is going to still finish 2nd. Graham will finish 3rd. Leverstein will finish 4th. McGuire 5th. So fantastic finish. Some of these guys weren't planning to run green to green, Randy.
We've seen that in the sprint cars. I've never seen that in the late models before, so I'm not sure if Howard ran out because he sort of sputtered and then he got back on the gas. I almost think he may have been playing with Alex. The thing is, though, Cam, is that the timing beam is so close to off of corner number 4 is that you can sort of get on the throttle late. It doesn't really matter because it's very close to the exit of 4. It's not really that far down that straightaway. It's not a super long front straightaway regardless. But I was thinking we were going to have a replay of that Formula 2 car at Monaco that one year that tried to celebrate and then lost that 2nd spot as Howard and Alex are having their own little demo derby out here.
Yeah, they were both doing donuts there. Either way, let's take a look at the official results here at Volusia Speedway, Barberville, Florida, playing host to round number 11. The World of Outlaws Craftsman late models. It goes to Howard Weaver at 11 minutes and 8 seconds, all green, all 40 laps, taking the green flag run. Howard Weaver took the pass over Alex Bergeron about halfway through the race, and he held it. So about 2/10 behind goes Alex Bergeron. Virgil Graham will finish in 3rd. Jacob Leverstein comes home in the 4th position after starting 9th. So that was the man on the mission. Chris McGuire will come home 5th. Jacob Fields will come home 6th. John Fiddler 7th. James Edens in 8th. Austin Sembelman 15th to 9th. Not a bad night for him. Jesse Carr, Josh Phillips, Mike Molnar, Lucas Chowning, Austin Matthews, Corey Ward, J.D. Brown, Jordan McDonald, and then Jordan Wesley finishing out. All cars finishing on the lead lap. And Randy, you know what? I have to say, for all the racing we had 3 car packs, and I think we had a very good showing here at Volusia.
We had 3 car packs, we had 4 car packs, and the big thing, Cam, is that that entire race, we didn't see any lap traffic throughout the 40 laps. So that tells you how competitive a field we're talking about when you can go caution-free and everyone can be on that lead lap from flag to flag. Very well done by everyone in that 18-car field.
All right, let's get Howard Weaver in here. So we'll get him out of his VLR machine. And there he is. So Howard Weaver climbing out of his number 6 Toyota Camry. And Howard, well, I talked to you yesterday. How did your race go here at Volusia?
It went pretty good.
Well, there you go. Now, I gotta say, it looks like you've got multiple numbers painted on the side of your car, by the way. You were able to make the pass on Alex Bergeron. It took maybe about 5-10 laps to set it up. Just take me through kind of running how the evolution at Volusia went. It did get real slick towards the end of that. You guys were running almost 10-15 mile an hour slower in the middle of the corner. Take me through that pass you made on Alex Bergeron.
Well, this track was pretty racy for how it normally ends up at the not races at Volusia. I think it could run about anywhere the same speed when it got black. But yeah, the first time I tried to pass him, his car was kind of like jumpy or something, and we got together. So then I moved up the track and lifted so that he could kind of get his spot back basically, and then he got into me too. So we were even, I guess, and then the second time I passed him, I was just trying to make sure I didn't get into him or anything, so I just dove it in there with a slide job and it stuck, and after that it was just good hard racing and trying to hang on.
Yeah, good hard racing, trying to hang on. And speaking of trying to hang on, I have to ask the question. When you were coming off of corner number 4, that mighty engine that carried you to the victory sputtered. Were you tight on fuel?
No, I had like 4 or 5 gallons, but I always like to make it a good race for the fans.
I see. Of course, I feel like he's lying.
No. I never gamble on fuel. I looked with like 8 laps to go, and it said I had like 27 laps left because normally 12 gallons you'll leave about half a gallon if it's caution free, but I guess where it was so slick, where we were lifting so much, I actually had more than normal, so it made it interesting. It made you ask a question.
Hey. So, well, with that, I gotta say, congratulations on your victories. That's 2 nights in a row. One at Knoxville in a 60-lap feature in the ADS. Now you've got another victory here on the big night. iRacing is Dirt Night here on iRacingLive and RaceSpot TV. So, Howard Weaver, floor is yours.
All right. Yeah, I want to thank RaceSpot for the coverage, iRacing for doing the late models. Alex, good run for him. He's getting a lot better in the late models. Virgil, third. That's VLR, first, second, and third, so that's cool. And I think it's the first time that's happened this season. So, yeah, VLR, Tennessee Punch, Team Friday, Farmer City Raceway.
There you go. So, Howard Weaver, congratulations on your victory. Thanks very much for hopping in the booth with you, and we'll catch you later.
Yep, thank you, guys.
So that is Howard Weaver, your race winner here for leg number 2 of Volusia Speedway Park. The World of Outlaws Craftsman late models will now go to the second place finisher, and he is standing by with Randy Chenowth.
I'm stood by with Mr. Berger himself, and Alex, you were super quick all night, dominated in qualifying, dominated in your heat race, and Howard got by you at about the midway point and pretty much ran away from there. He got around you a little bit earlier than that, and you managed to fight back. You guys are both racing very physical. Is there a little bit of rivalry there between the teammates?
Just art racing there. That was very fun. The track was was very slick, so I don't race these cars a lot. Trying to find out how to work with these. But the second place is very good tonight. I don't drive these a lot. It's more foreign cars, so we'll get how it works, and maybe we'll be better. But second place is decent. But the race long, that was super fun. I had Graham behind me and Weaver. It was a good race, and I was able to stick with him. I was not like 1 second on back, so I was able to be there, and I'm very confident for next week.
Now, you came on very strong last year in the Peak Antifreeze Series as well as the World Championship Grand Prix Series. We saw you in both of the Pro Series on that end anyways. We didn't see you in Blancpain, though. However, getting the 2 World of Outlaw Championships, I don't think you kept your I can't remember if you're in the World Championship Grand Prix Series or not, honestly, off the top of my head, but I know you're there in Peak. And I know that you're going to be a big name looking forward once we eventually get the qualifying stuff going for these World of Outlaw Championships. Are you looking forward to potentially being in the most of the World Championships of anyone on the sim?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't do I don't have the license for the F1 this year. I didn't put enough work into it this year. I'm just concentrate myself to peak and do their stuff, but blank pay is just so much work to do, so I'm not looking to that, but definitely Wall of Outlaws on dirt. That's gonna be a good thing to do, and now I don't know what it's gonna be, but we're definitely gonna be a good contender.
Good luck to you in a couple moments once we get to the sprint cars at Eldora. But before we let you go, Alex, in case you end up getting taken out and don't get to join us in the booth, any shout-outs would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank the Drill Spill, Dirt Collective, Dirt Car Racing, Mar Inc., That's for Broadcasting, Team VLR for the team. Congrats to Weaver for their win tonight in late models. Congrats to Graham for 3rd place. And to everybody who's watching me right now, thanks for being here. And we'll see you in the car.
Alex Bergeron, P number 2 after the feature tonight.
All right, thank you, Alex. We'll see you soon, I'm sure. We've got Virgil Graham. He finished 3rd, completing the VLR 1, 2, 3. Virgil Graham, you put on a pretty good race there. You had a fight with Leverstein for a while. Take me through your feature race here at Volusia.
Yeah, the car was good all night. You know, I think it's tough to really know and understand out there in Facebook land and RaceSpot TV just how tough the competition is. You know, we were just the top 3 there, actually the top 4 until whoever there it was behind me dropped off. I mean, we're just so close. You know, if you missed the line once or if you pick the wrong lane, you could lose 1 or 2 tenths to the leaders. So, you know, it's just a tough fought battle. And, you know, us top 3 kind of broke away there at the end, I think, but we're just so close. There just wasn't much to do.
And, I mean, traffic was tough. The track raced really good. Volusia had gotten a pretty bad reputation with the sprint cars in the first season. And now they seem to be, Volusia seems to be kind of coming into its own. The people really seem to like it, and the sprint cars run well there, but the late models really seem to be exceptional around that track.
Yeah, the late models have really been pretty decent there just about every time we're on it. There's usually a decent top side, and then every once in a while you get the bottom to come in. I don't know how much you saw. I was trying to search around a little bit. The bottom was, for me, it was a little bit slower. You know, maybe I just wasn't running it right. Some people might have found some speed on the bottom. I know Austin was running the bottom in the B main, but it was just a hair slower down there for me. So, you know, I think I did the same thing last time. The last time we were here, I won it here, but you know, right through the slick and then just kind of bouncing off the cushion, or so to speak, the cushion, because we don't have the cushion yet, but we will soon. That's kind of the fastest way around I've found.
Well, Virgil Graham, either way, congrats on the 3rd place. And, well, we will see you hopefully next week to finish out the series. But either way, the floor is yours. Anyone you'd like to give a shout-out to?
Yeah, just, you know, you guys doing the RaceSpot TV and you guys broadcasting and keeping it fun. Team VLR, we swept today, 1, 2, 3, you know, and then the paint job, if anybody was seeing the paint job that I had, the black and green 42, Jamie Ray painted that at XRG Graphics. If you like that, check him out.
All right, Virgil Graham, 3rd place finish, VLR driver, thank you so much, and we appreciate you hopping in the booth with us.
Thanks, guys.
So that is going to be it, Hugo. We're going to go take a quick on break. We're going to hop up the old I-75S to travel 981 miles in just a few minutes. So that's been it for the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Cars. Don't go anywhere. We've got sprint cars on the docket. They're warming up under the Big E here at Rossburg, Ohio. We'll be right back with sprint car action.
Get ready, going green. Green, green, green.
the best. You got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt. The world of Outlaws.
And welcome back. This is it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Strap in. We've got Rosberg, Ohio on the docket. World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series live here on iRacingLive, RaceSpot TV. That's me, Cam Walsh. That's him, Randy Chenowth. That's Hugo Louis over there down in Brazil doing, I don't know, something. Anyways, we've got qualifying going on right now as we speak. As lap times are coming in, no surprise, it's Alex Bergeron up top, but it's a 565 versus a 566. Bob King, the number 17 machine, is running strong, and Chris Brenner, he almost goes one faster, but he does not, as Steven Renaud puts in a 503 as well. So yes, welcome to Eldora. We've made the 14-hour trip. It is daylight out here to finish out the night, and Randy, well, Eldora, sprint cars, what could be better?
John Batista, he goes quicker than Steven Renaud by a thousandth of a second, so the qualifying times are hyper tight here in the sprint cars, as you'd expect around Eldora, Cam, and especially because super low usage to start out. That means these guys are basically going to be just putting low fuel in the car, and you really don't, I don't want to say it's going to be easy around here, but when the track is like this in qualifying, it's really easy to go out there, put your foot to the floor, and not lift off until you've run your 2 qualifying laps. That's going to change as we go throughout this event tonight, of course. Track is going to slicken off for sure, as Dylan Selman, I think, goes 4th quickest, and he's actually the last of our qualifiers, so we're going to have heat race number 1 coming at you in just a moment. But it's going to be a pretty, let's say the simplest pretty much possible Eldora racetrack for these guys to start out on.
Yeah, it's straightforward. It's going to be really tacky, and these guys are going to have this track slick off on them hopefully pretty quick. 3 Australians here on the docket, as the rest are American minus Alex Bergeron and Steven Renaud, the 2 Canadians. So we've got a heat settled. We've got a ton of cars here today for the action. And let's start with heat number 1. Lining up, rolling out behind the pace truck right now. It is Alex Bergeron. It is Steven Renaud, Chris Brenner, Austin Selman, Timothy Smith, Lewis Hewitt, Corey Wenzel, Josh Phillips, and then it's Blake Derflinger in the number 13. Great number, very apt for him. So either way, as I get ready to roll out, Randy, it's Eldora. It's daylight. We're not racing under the lights, and the temperatures aren't too bad. 82 degrees in the air, 94 degrees. The wind is completely negligible. So I gotta say, these cars, I imagine this means the track is gonna probably rip up a lot faster than if we were running under the lights.
It very well could. That is one of the things that I think a lot of people, they don't actually know about the sim, and it's been confirmed, is that on the asphalt, I think everyone knows that as the track temperature changes, you're going to see different grooves especially on the asphalt oval side, but the track responds differently to hot weather. It's the same with the dirt, and what that basically means is that the sim actually takes into account the ambient temperature, the track temperature. It takes in, the amount of clouds that are in the air, sunlight that's on the racetrack. It takes into account the relative humidity out there on the racing surface, and the track will actually change differently depending on those conditions. So a colder track will be more likely to hold that moisture into it, and you'll likely see that dirt stay good throughout an evening, whereas the track that has a bunch of sun on it, that's and it's hot like it is today, because we're talking about 82 degrees Fahrenheit, pretty warm to what we're used to seeing. That track's going to get drier quickly and slicken up a little bit, and you lose that tackiness. So I think we're going to see a track, like you said, can get very, very beat up. And even after qualifying, considering we were on low usage, it already is a little bit of a slick groove heading into 1 and 2.
Alex Bergeron is ready to rock and roll. His Canadian counterpart, Stephen Renaud, is going to run the high line, so we will see. Will Alex Bergeron get to go through? Well, I don't know. Alex Bergeron, I did see as soon as they rolled that car out, he took his top wing, which is adjustable, he set it all the way to the back in the most rearward position. Truck gets out of the way. Alex Bergeron punches it. He's got the whole shot. The car swings left and right wildly as he gets that thing under control, and we are green for heat number 1.
The Bergeron's trying to work the top. He is quick in qualifying like we just saw in the late model, so he goes for 2 for 2 on the dirt oval tonight in the pole positions. Is slicing and dicing for position in the back. I believe that's Lewis Hewitt in that turquoise-colored TTL machine trying to run with who's that Corey Wenzel as well as Josh Phillips. Very tight here at the 11. Slides right up in front of the 15. Bets to get way off. That causes a bit of a stack up, and 13 of Blake Durflinger all over the place, and I think Corey's in the wall.
And Josh Phillips threw a counter slider, but Hewitt was able to drive to the inside. Phillips trying to run low. Durflinger fighting with Wenzel. As it's Bergeron, Renaud, Selman, Brenner, Smith, and then you've got Hewitt. So good running in the heat so far. Everyone's running clean, even though there's a ton of movement in the cars. Renaud's running slightly lower than Bergeron. He tries to get the outside line. He brushes the outside wall with his lovely little pink rims. And he is not able to get the speed. VLR running third with Austin Selman. VLR running 1 with that drill spill sprint car. And here comes Chris Brenner. I love the roll cage sprayed in that green. He runs to the inside line. It's the Ohio driver. He's happy. He's at Rossburg, Ohio. He's at his home track. He's trying to run hard, Chris Brenner, as the laps are just flying by.
Already 2 to go here as they head off towards 1 and 2. Everyone liking the top side of the racetrack. The traditional quick line here at Eldora. You'll see this in real life as well. Once these guys get out there on the racetrack, they just put it right up against the fence, put your foot to the floor, and hope you don't tag that outside wall. They head through 1 and 2 for the final time, and I think Bergeron got this one in the bag, but Renaud is close.
Yeah, so Alex Bergeron pulls off. He runs an inside defensive line just in case. He'll come across the start-finish line. And everyone follows single file here at Eldora to warm up the racetrack. Heat number 1 is sorted, so it's Alex Bergeron with a victory in heat number 1 in just about 1 minute and 51 seconds. Stephen Renaud in second. Then it's Semmelman, Brenner, Smith, Hewitt, Phillips, and then Durflinger, and then Wenzel. So we now have heat number 2 lining up behind the pace truck. That is going to be John Batista, Dylan Sembelman, Nathan Davis, Bob King, Dylan Sharman, Nelson Webster, Bradley Cash, and then James Edens. So we're getting ready to rock and roll, and Batista running, I can only imagine that is probably a fan paint scheme of somebody's vehicle. And then you got the VLR machine of Dylan Sembelman. Then you got Davis and then King, your front 4. So we'll see how they go. Heat 1 went pretty well, but it went quick too.
Yeah, that was a very, very quick heat race there as these guys roll out for the second one. Batista and Nate Davis, they often work together. I don't think they technically have a name, but I think those two, along with Cody, and I think Blake sometimes works with them as well. So those guys, maybe a bit of alliance, if not official teams per se. So look for them to work together. Whereas on the outside groove, you have Mr. Bob King as well as Dylan Selman, both flags of flying flags of different teams, so not going to be able to work together in this one. So maybe that inside groove might be advantageous here as we get ready.
And on the video feed, you saw us looking at the video screen. It says, welcome to Eldora Speedway. So, welcome indeed to Rossburg, Ohio. And actually, while they all have, the War Wagons are all here? Fantastic. I just didn't know that they could do that. So, John Batista, he is going to take us to the green flag. Batista, I wouldn't say I'm used to him starting in 410 wing sprint cars in the front, so we'll see when he does it. He doesn't seem to be taking a page out of Tim Ryan's book, so already a bit of a thumbs up for me because he's right behind the pace truck as he'll give it, let's see, how much of a count will John Batista wait? He will give it just about half a second when the pace truck pulls in. He almost had a challenge on the outside from Dylan Selman, but we're green here at Eldora for heat number 2.
Look for Dylan Selman to be running a top fuel funding car in NHRA with that sort of reaction time, as Dylan's going to try to slide John in 3 and 4, but John turns it back down to the bottom into 1 and 2. Let's see, 7 cars going to take the lead back. Dylan's immediately going to fight back down to that inside. That 3 VLR machine is super hooked up as Batista is going to lose the lead again, but take it right back. Dylan's going to try to take that low groove away, but I think it might come back to bite him as John's going to slide back up, and Dylan once again gets back down to the bottom here. Dylan and John being relentless here with this race lead, and John's going to try to slide back down to the bottom again. It's been then basically trading the lead back and forth, but Dylan's been nosing ahead of the line every lap.
Yeah, so good counter back and forth. Bob King was trying to run on Nathan Davis. Nothing was there. Webster was trying to fight on Edens. It looks to me like this track is loosening up pretty quickly. You can see that defining line. Semmelman wants to run up high. He gets the overspeed. And will he have it clear by the time he gets to 1 and 2? No, or by 3 and 4? No, he will not. He might have a bit of a run here, but he just, well, no, it's not going to be in play here as we're on lap number 6, John Batista. He's just, they're trading the first and second positions right now, and here comes Nathan Davis. Davis wants a part of this action. At some point, he's going to follow one of these 2 cars through. That's going to be your breaker right now, 2 to go, as Bob King running super low in that number 17 machine. Dylan Selman, though, almost clipping that pit exit as he parks the car up top. No, he will not, so he's going to continue the momentum slides. And Batista now going to run inside. This should mean mathematically Dylan Selman should get the run, unless Batista does something. He does not, so Dylan Selman should, in theory, be able to cross the start-finish line first. He does, so 1, 2, 3, Batista, Davis, and Selman taking the victory. Bob King, Edens, Webster. So, hey, red track is starting to loosen up, and that is going to get worrying real quick because whilst we had it clean through the first 2 heats, we know that when the flag drops on the main, well, Randy, things get interesting, to say the least.
I'm sure John Batista isn't very happy right now, because the only way to describe it is that as good as Dylan looked out there, that was 100% luck the way Dylan timed that start, as we're going to be getting the feature race here going. No last chance qualifier in this one, so 30-lap feature coming right at you. But John Batista, to have that happen to you, to have that driver on the outside time a restart like that, anyone who runs at the front of these fields, it's happened to them at least once, and it's just such a bad feeling to be starting on pole and then have that race lead be taken away like that. Well driven by Selman and well jumped, but let's see if Batista can fight back in this feature.
All right, so let's take a look at your starting grid for your 16-car feature event here from Rossburg, Ohio. It's Eldora 410 wing sprint cars, and out and say Bergeron. He is going to be the one taking the green flag. Dylan Semmelman, his outside. Steven Ronaldo will start 3rd. John Batista will start 4th. Austin Semmelman 5th. Nathan Davis 6th. Chris Brenner in 7th. Bob King 8th. Timothy Smith in the 9th position. James Edens will round out your top 10. Lewis Hewitt, Nelson Webster, Josh Phillips, Bradley Cash, Blake Durflinger, Corey Wenzel, and Dylan Sharman will not be taking the field. As the cars are rolling right now for this 16-car A-main feature event to round out iRacing Dirt Night, you gotta remember, of course, if you like this as much as we do, you can certainly leave a thumbs up on the little YouTube page thingy. People apparently like that, supposedly, and subscribe to get all sorts of racing action. But right now, let's stay focused. Let's get the 5-point harness wrapped in. Let's get the wing adjusted. Pull it all the way back. And let's get ready to roll here at Eldora. Lights are out on the pace track. Pretty excited about this one as these cars are going to line themselves up. We know Bergeron's quick on the starts, but Dylan Semmelman, will he go 2 for 2? We'll fade the music. We'll crank up the engines. Thank you so very much for making iRacing Live and RaceSpot TV part of your Friday night. Let's get this show rolling. Pace track to the inside pit lane. Alex Bergeron punches it as soon as he can. Semmelman's not able to get the punch. We're green here in the A-main.
Selman doesn't get the reaction that we saw in that heat race, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's very hard to imitate that, but Dylan is going to imitate the lead swapping events that we saw in that heat race. He takes the lead for a moment, but Bergeron, is he better than John on the bottom? No. Dylan's going to lead lap 1 by 15.
Renault's up and around.
7 seconds. Renault's upside down. That's surely going to be a caution as they're a big pileup, but who had the race lead at the time of the yellow? I think Bergeron may have had it.
Well, let's take a look. Let's get the replay up here. As you can see, it just looks like Steven Renaud is able to just get spent through the spin cycle here, right in the outside wall. You can see in his little pink rims and his all-black machine. He just kind of climbs up.
Looking like Max Backerman.
He clips the wheel, I think, of Batista, and that just, it rolls him more than it doesn't cause the incident, but it loosens him up to where when he tries to go into corner number 1, there's just nothing there. He does have a paint scheme, by the way, Hugo. I'm angrily shaking my fist because on the back of his wing it does say Fear the Ruse. So, either way, so Steven Renaud, he is done for the day. Unfortunate for the Canadian driver, but either way, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully he doesn't have an Oculus Rift, because if he has that, that's a spin cycle that I don't think I would recover from. But Randy, we had a good start for this, and I think we understand now someone's got some speed.
Yeah, Selman's really quick, and I kind of agree with you on the looking at Renaud's incident. He kind of tried to slide John and wasn't quite close enough, and tried to slot him behind him, but wasn't quite close enough either. I think he may have had a slight tap from Nate Davis, but really nothing Nate could really do about that. And like you said, he tapped the wall. He got thrown into the wall once down the straight, and then that upset the car as he tried to turn into the corner and ended up in the wall again, and that sent him upside down. Lights are out, though, on that iRacing safety truck, so Dylan Selman, he's going to get another opportunity to potentially time this restart on Bergeron. Let's see if he can do that, as Austin, by the way, has done a good job to bring his way up to P number 4.
So it will be Bergeron, Semmelman, Batista, Semmelman. He's holding back, Dylan is. He wants to be able to shoulder shoot. He closes up in the hair. Truck driver pulls to the inside. Semmelman does a pretty good job, I have to say. Bergeron's normally a squeaky little car as he typically pulls himself right through. But Semmelman is there. Batista fighting inside. Austin Semmelman outside.
We're going to contact Nate Davis is in the wall in 3 and 4. He's going to do a good job to recover here. Might see Chris Brenner throw something here, but no, Nate Davis, fantastic job recovering as it's going to be VLR 1, 2, 3. Batista 4th is Davis. He's going to fight it out with Bob King in towards 3 and 4. Bob not going to be able to get up the racetrack, and Nate's going to have to drive it way down low. And we got Lewis Hewitt. He's almost around at 1 and 2, but he keeps it underneath them. We stay green off of 2.
Edens threw a massive slider, and Nelson Webster was able to drive around him and prevent a massive incident. He barreled in there like some kind of rocket. Alex Bergeron, though, he's got a hair's breadth over Dylan Selman. These guys are driving it over 110 mile an hour in the corner, as there's a massive slider thrown from Austin Selman that allows John Batista to run the inside line. Nathan Davis, his fat right rear is getting there to the outside, and the track, Randy, is starting to yield.
We're starting to see that upper groove get away, and look at the run that Batista, look at the line, that John Batista is running. He's not just running the wall you typically see. He's really diamonding it off. He's taking a very straight entry to the middle of the corner, then getting right up next to the wall, oftentimes making that right rear contact with it, and driving back down the hill. Is going to be a car around. Blake is letting us all down and bringing out a yellow.
I'm crying internally. No, actually, I can't really. It looked to me like you have to go back to corners number 3 and 4. We're looking at the replay right now. You're actually seeing it. Let's see if we can rewind it and get this thing going again so we can get the play-by-play. Here you go. So you see he comes off the corner, and Bob King kind of runs the inside. He takes the speed away from Edens. Edens then has to kind of take a middle line, and Derflinger really, he was all right until a TTL car, Lewis Hewitt, kind of crashed into him. And so Lewis Hewitt, another retirement.
Who did that? Timothy Smith did the same thing in 1 and 2.
Yeah, so unfortunate, bringing out the yellow, the second yellow. But I got to say, for the yellows that we've had, Randy, these haven't really been racing incidents per se. This has just been more than drivers running out of track room.
Yeah, it's just sort of people just running themselves up into the wall, hasn't it? It's just, sort of unfortunate there for Blake, and especially for the other driver we saw get into that wall, Tim Smith as well. They both did the same thing, just a little bit more, or they were feeling confident up top, and they got into the corner, and the car didn't hook up quite the way they'd like, and they bounced that right rear off the corner. And well, when you're going about 140 here at Eldora in a wing sprint car, knocking that big right rear tire into the wall is oftentimes not the greatest of things.
It's not a sensation that I would call positive, personally. But the pace light is out on the racing truck that is completely unmarked and doesn't look like any vehicle at all in existence, apparently. As Alex Bergeron will pull us into the green flag once again. Dylan Semmelman, this is take 3. He doesn't get it either. Batista actually gets a pretty good start, but it's not going to matter. Who's going to get in the spin cycle this time? Outside wall, Batista, his rear is clipped, but everyone looks all right. They almost look to go 3 wide.
Being about 3 wide, and Batista's still running so close to that upper wall. I think Batista's the closest of anybody. He's going to take the fight to Nate Davis, but Nate sort of puts himself in an awkward position for Batista, so John's not really to make anything of it. Dylan's still running in that second spot, trying to reel in Alex. Is still a big stack up on the top side. Bob King's going to try to slide up. No, going to be nowhere. So Bob does a good job of lifting out of that and keeping himself down in the middle of the racetrack. Let's see if Bob will find somewhere in that upper groove to slot in. Not going to do so just yet as Alex and Dylan continue to run single file out in front. But Dylan looks pacey. I think he's going to throw a move here sooner rather than later.
Can we get a camera on the rear of Alex Bergeron's machine? Oh, we do actually. See if we can pan that camera a little bit to the left. Look at the left rear, or look at the right rear camera. Look at how close it is to the Eldora wall. That thing is so close. Look at that thing, as that is your Eldora stripe right there. He is pulling that car right to the concrete barrier. There ain't no safer barrier there. As Bergeron, he is just running a lightning close gap, so close as Dylan Semmelman's trying to reel him in, but Bergeron, he's just dancing that ragged edge.
Is what you have to do at Eldora and a lot of these racetracks, and the top slickens off, and we're going to be seeing this because we know that we're getting an update to the cushion in the next build as well, in some form or another, and that's what you see a lot of times in dirt racing. Is Dylan's getting immediately started the salt, goes down to the bottom, and 3 and 4 going to slide way up, and Alex is going to have an awesome run off that top groove of the racetrack, and Alex being so comfortable running so high, he's going to be able to fend off Semmelman very, very well because he's using the upper limit. Alex is going to defend the slider by essentially throwing one here on his own, but Dylan's going to get a big run, and they're both going to go down low. Dylan's going to muscle his way down to the bottom. Alex runs the middle, and Dylan's not going to be able to get clear, but Alex's run is somewhat hurt as well.
It almost looked, and there goes Bergeron's speed as he actually had to back it off there, but it almost looked to me like Dylan, he lifted the front. He got on the throttle. He had to do a kind of a stutter. He looked like he almost lifted the front wheels for a moment there, but now Dylan Semmelman is your leader with 5 laps to go here at Rossburg, Ohio. It's been Bergeron all day, but here comes Semmelman. He's been fast all night long, well, all day long, I guess. And now here he goes. Nathan Davis is taken 3rd away from Batista clean, and everyone else runs single file. So let's hope these guys continue. We want to see how this show goes, folks. So do not crash back there, please. Is Randy looking good?
These two so close to each other through 3 and 4, showing each other a lot of respect. When is Alex going to make his move? We only have a few laps remaining in this race. They have a big margin over Davis and Batista. Over 2 seconds is the gap right now to 3rd and 4th. Where is Alex going to throw the move here on Semmelman? They're going to come across the stripe with 3 laps to go. Alex tries to get underneath Dylan, but no way to do so off corner number 4. In towards 1 and 2 once again. They're going to stay pretty much nose to tail. Alex has lost a bit of ground, and that might actually be a blessing rather than a curse. Might open up a door for him. Is he going to drive a little bit down to the inside? 2 to go now into 1 and 2. When is Alex going to pounce?
Well, can he? There's a lapped car of Lewis Hewitt. Hewitt pulls to the inside. The TTL driver very kindly getting out of the way. So Semmelman, Bergeron, here he goes. He might lean this time by. White flag in the air. Here comes Bergeron. Mastiff slider. Semmelman sees that coming. He's going to pull alongside. So Bergeron doesn't throw the block, however, so Semmelman now has to run inside. Bergeron might get the speed coming off the corner. It's going to be a drag race to the finish, but it is going to go to Dylan Semmelman as Semmelman takes the checkered flag, but not the one you'd expect. It's Dylan's turn. Dylan is the fast driver here in the sprint cars over his brother Austin, and that is going to be a victory for him. So, official results coming across your screen right now from the Big E, Rossburg, Ohio, putting on a fantastic show. It's the Midwest driver of Dylan Semmelman, the number 3 machine in 9 minutes and 10 seconds with 2 cautions, taking the checkered flag. Alex Bergeron finishes in 2nd. John Batista finishes in 3rd. Chris Brenner 4th. Nathan Davis 5th. Austin Semmelman, he will finish in 6th position. James Edens will go from 10th to 7th. Nelson Webster from 12th to 8th. Corey Wenzel from 16th to 9th. Bradley Cash will finish in 10th. Josh Phillips in 11th. Lewis Hewitt in 12th. Bob King, Timothy Smith, Blake Turflinger, and then Stephen Renaud. So, Randy, good racing here at Eldora. I think we had a fantastic show at the Big E.
Yeah, it was a good race very as well. The younger brother this time, Dylan Selman, taking it over Alex and putting it to his bigger brother, Austin Selman. We saw Austin when the dirt stuff first released. He was really probably the strongest driver on the sim for a stretch, and other people got a lot better. Austin, I think, has sort of fallen off. I think Dylan might need to teach his older brother a thing or two to get him back to being good.
Yeah, I have no idea what just happened. Randy Chenowth just turned into a much deeper, sultry sounding gentleman. But either way, we'll get him back in a moment. But either way, I have to say, Dylan, he's been kind of coming into his own. And it's been a long time coming. You're back to normal. You got to listen back to that because I did. Nothing was wrong with the quality. It sounded great. You also sounded a bit like a BB King or something. And I don't know. But either way, we've got Dylan Selman. I almost said Austin Selman. But we've got Dylan Selman, and he's joining. He's climbing out of that machine. And Dylan, congratulations! You've taken the victory here at Eldora. Hard fought. You took the pass with about 7 laps to go. Take me through it.
Yeah, it was a fun track. It was pretty slick. So I don't know. I just sent it on Alex, and it stuck. Hopefully, it was fun to watch.
It was pretty entertaining. They managed to keep it green in the back, so that allowed us to get the show. When were you planning on? What was your plan for Bergeron coming back? He seemed to be patient, waiting behind you. We were waiting for a while for him to send something back in a retort, but you managed to keep yourself covered.
Yeah, I don't focus on that. I just hit my marks, and I saw him coming up the track in 3 and 4. I crossed him over, and yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, good running here at Eldora. The track it turned into a ragged edge up there at the high side. I mean, just kind of take me through the evolution of this Eldora circuit. We had a lot of green flag running here, barely any caution laps. And so that outside Eldora edge, both of you had to plant that right rear just, I mean, inches away from the outside wall. Eldora, a favorite track of yours?
Yeah, I've always been pretty fast here, but in 1 and 2, you got to enter right against the wall and just make it stick, so it's pretty challenging.
Well, all right with that, Dylan. Congratulations on your victory here in the World of Outlaws Craftsman Outlaws with the 410 Wing Sprint Cars. But the floor is yours. Anyone you would like to give a shout out to or thanks, it's your time.
Yeah, Team VLR, of course, Dirt Vision, Dirt Collective, and you guys for putting it on. Thanks, man.
There you go, quick and easy. Dylan Selman has taken the victory, 9 minutes and 10 seconds. And now, Randy, you now get to interview Alex Bergeron here at Rossburg, Ohio.
Yeah, I'm stood by with Alex again, second time a bridesmaid tonight on Dirt Night. And Alex, how frustrating is it to be quickest in qualifying and have something like that happen in the race? It wasn't as physical this time from Dylan as it was from Howard just one race ago, but second time that you lose it to a teammate here in the feature.
Well, that was good racing again. That's fair and square, man. Just high job city pretty much, and the top was quicker there, and I kind of made a mistake going to the middle turn turn 4, or I think it was middle of turn 4, and you had to run, and then I lost the lead, but I was maybe a little bit quicker, but it's a good race.
Now, me and Cam were sort of talking about this, but Dylan's sort of come on strong the last, I'd say, month and a half or so. Oftentimes is Austin the one we would normally talk about on pretty much any of the broadcasts we've done, but between the American Dirt Series and these Friday night broadcasts, Dylan has really made a name for himself in these big broadcasted races. Last week didn't go too well for him in that feature, going from 1st to 8th, basically just on pure speed, but what do you think's changed? What do you think Dylan may have figured out that maybe Austin has been slacking, or does Austin just need to get good?
I mean, just like I said, just hard racing. I mean, there's luck involved as well, but been doing pretty good. So good luck and a good job for him tonight. That was very good to win. I don't know what to say about it, but the only thing I know is just that was a 8-mile second there tonight, second sprint car, so that's pretty decent for both of the series. So.
Thanks once again for joining us, Alex. Before we let you go again, sponsors, shout-outs, friends, family, name them off.
Yeah, well, all my sponsors, Dirt Car Racing, our Inc., Drill Spill, Dirt Collective, you guys for broadcasting. Everybody who's watching right now, thank you. Team VLR for the team, and congrats to Dylan for the win tonight.
Well, that was Mr. Alex Bergeron, and before it sounds like I have inhaled some sulfur hexafluoride here, I'm going to pass it back over to Mr. Cam Walsh.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It was apparently myself, Cam Walsh. It's Randy Chenowth, and
The voice of God.
Louis Armstrong, I think. But either way,
Louis Armstrong. Oh my God, you're so uncultured.
Oh, for God's sakes. Anyways, Hugo still doesn't even know who that is. But I have to say, we had a fantastic race here in Randy. This is the hard decision. We had a good GRC race. We had a good late model race. We had a good sprint car race. Who takes it tonight?
The viewers take it, and we do it as well. So everyone really delivered tonight. The Red Bull race was, there was a bit of calamity that took some of the racing away, but the heat racing is always good in that series. But the late model race was super awesome. The sprint car race, there were a couple yellows, but not an excessive amount. But regardless, a fantastic night of racing, and one more iteration of Friday Night Dirt Night on this season as we get ready to close out this season and look forward to a lot of new content, branching from LMP1 to dirt tracks to a rallycross track to a cushion update to all sorts of cool stuff once we get to March.
And you will, of course, surely be watching at least some of that here on RaceSpot TV and watching it on iRacingLive. So, with that, Hugo, it is time to start the music here as we close out our running at Rossburg, Ohio's legendary Eldora Speedway. Of course, this is brought to you by RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive. It's been myself, Cameron Walsh. It's been Randolph Chenowth. It's been Hugo Louis, working the cameras, getting everything great. Overlay design from Andreas Warner and Warren Design. Overlay animation, Simon Grossman, the engineer. Live timing, Nick Fisson with RaceSpot TV's live timing. So special thanks to all those people behind it for week 11 of iRacing Dirt Night. We wish you all the very best. Only 1 week to go, and it is going to look like a good one. So for all of us here at RaceSpot TV, thanks for making us part of your Friday night, and we will see you all for one final time next week. Same bat time, same bat place. See you later.